Hello, everybody. Today, I will be talking about mOOvement. mOOvement, the GPS cattle tracking solution for an efficient operation. I will be talking today about the start of mOOvement, what can we do with the technology, what impact do we make, and what is possible in the future. How did we start? I'm Pieter Vogels, co-founder and co-CEO of mOOvement. mOOvement started in 2017 within the Rabobank. We submitted the idea of mOOvement into the internal innovation competition, which we won. After that, we went into an accelerator program. We really used the innovation framework to develop our ear tags. So we went to Australia. We did pilots with collars first. We did over 100 interviews with farmers. We worked at the cattle farm. So we really saw what the problems were firsthand. That's where we also learned that cattle farmers and beef cattle farmers do not want collars. They do want ear tags. That's where the Things Network and SODAC, our R&D partner, came into the picture. We developed an ear tag together with them, which we still use today after, of course, we did many iterations. We're based in Brisbane, Australia. That's where a large part of our team is, and that's the biggest market, and Utrecht, the Netherlands. We separated from the Rabobank, so we're fully independent movement from early 2020. I will explain mOOvement with this video.
Farming has been the driving force of our civilization for centuries. But with an ever-growing population and the increasing impact farming has on our environment, we need to keep innovating the way in which we feed the world. Take the Australian outback. One of the biggest challenges cattle farmers face every day is the sheer amount of distance between them and their animals. Driving 2.5 hours to check on cattle is no exception. To help Australian cattle farmers monitor their cattle from great distance, Rabobank, a global leader in agricultural financing, started mOOvement.
With mOOvement we have the ambition to track and trace cattle in the Australian outback.
At the heart of mOOvement is the ear tag, a long-range, low-power node that transmits the cow's location, giving all sorts of valuable insights, like location alerts when a cow has broken a fence, or when a bull is looking for opportunities in a paddock it's not supposed to be in. But also the ability to analyze movement patterns to see where a herd has grazed in order to make better infrastructural decisions. And by looking at a cow's movement, we even believe we can see when it's going to be fertile. By working closely with Australian cattle farmers, the mOOvement team has discovered which solutions fulfill their most important needs.
It's given us a taste of what this technology can do.
Saving you time, money, and looking after your animals in a more humane way.
mOOvement, driving the production of our food into a new era.
mOOvement. As you saw in the video, that's what we do. Some things are we still developing, but as you saw, a lot of the decisions of cattle farmers are based on experience and subjective data. Basically, they don't know where their cattle are. If the cattle in trouble, if they jump the fence, if is a cow about to calve, how the bulls are performing, if the cows are being stolen, if there's sufficient water. All these things is what we can solve with our ear tag, or are going to solve. Oh, sorry. So what value does this bring, like in money terms for the farmers? As you can see, these figures are based from Meat Livestock Australia report. They basically say location, behavioral, and state. Those are the three items where they which they classify. First, location, basically the GPS. Here you can see the expenses and benefits. Then the next thing, what we are developing this year, is the behavioral insights. And then what we didn't even include are the state. So they're basically the grazing patterns. Grazing patterns are very important, so farmers can see where they graze and make better infrastructural decisions on how they make their paddocks. How does the technology work? Basically, we have the ear tag. The ear tag, about every 2 hours, gets the coordinates from the satellite and sends it over the LoRa to the antenna. The antenna sends it up to the cloud onto our software platform. We are not just a hardware company. We are really a software company as well. What's inside the GPS ear tag? The main components are the GPS chip, of course, the LoRa antenna, the QR code for easy onboarding, which is very important, and a solar panel. Soon we will, or like we're already having the accelerometer inside now as well. So yeah, and I mean, these are the main components. I've been told there are about 48 components in our ear tag. And every day we're trying to improve these things, not only hardware, but also the firmware and software around it. What we've been asking a lot as well, how do we determine the coverage? We do that with radio mapping. Here you can see an example. We have here 2 towers at 2 farms. The green part, that's where we have coverage, and the black part, we don't. Now the farmer can decide for his own if the ear tag movement is useful for him. How can we use this technology? First of all, I want to show you this short video to show you how easy it is to onboard our ear tag. It's part of an existing process. They need to tag their cattle anyway. They put in their management ID of the cow, and this is how they tag the cow. This all needs to be within 10 to 15 seconds, because these cattle farmers, they have about hundreds of thousands of animals, so it needs to be quick through the crutch. You have your whole operation in one view. Here is an example of our app at the moment. You can zoom in. You see all the management IDs. You can see the last known locations of the animal, of this cow, of heifer, but also the bull. Where is the bull? What is it doing? Because bulls are very important. I mean, they they make the cows. They need to get in calf again. We told this farmer as well, or the farmer saw that some of his cows were out of his property. We called him. He said, "No worries, mate. I'm on top of it." But it gives a real alert, and I mean, from his homestead, he can see that the cows are outside the paddock. Here you can see grazing patterns. On the top left corner, you see a whole operation, and we zoomed in a couple of paddocks. In the left bottom corner, you can see where the cows were roaming the fence. When the farmer saw this, he thought like, okay, the cattle are looking for greener pastures somewhere else, so I need to move the cattle. These are really important insights for the cattle farmer. Bull performance. This is what we're developing at the moment, and hopefully release somewhere in 2021. A bull is about $8,000 to $80,000. So you want to have the bull working. It also needs to work during heat. So in here we have the temperature during the day and an estimation on the amount of kilometers he walks during the day. But also comparing him to other bulls. There are about 1 bull per 30 cows. This gives an indication, some insights to the farmer. The farmer still needs to make his own decisions. We do have a LoRa network with our own antennas. We use the Things Industries, so we can add also other sensors. A cattle farmer needs to sometimes drive about an hour to his water point. He checks his water points twice a week just to check if there is water. With our app, you can see if the trough is full. This will save, he will still go once a week, but this will save him instantly a lot of money. So we report every 15 minutes and he can see, basically if there is still water for the cattle. We tag more than only cattle. Cattle is the main thing. We also tag sheep now, which is hopefully going to be a huge market as well. But we also do some wildlife projects for research. Here you can see the koala. We partner with a wildlife organization in Australia, where they can monitor directly where the koalas are. So they can see what the patterns, and where the koalas eat, which is really, really important. Hey, you see him go. But also bisons in Montana. I mean, they want to see the migration patterns and where the bison graze. Here you can see a short video of all the bison over a period of time. So not only cattle. Where do we stand now and what is possible? We are continuously looking at our solar panels, our internal battery, so we can send more GPS messages. This year is also a focus on the accelerometer. We want to know, based on the accelerometer, what we have learned from the dairy industry, that you can detect fertility, calving. It's easier to detect if a cow is not moving anymore, but also theft. Based on accelerometer, it's way easier to see if there are abnormal behavior, or weird movements. With the accelerometer, we also hope, and also on location, to detect certain diseases. Not all of them, because we can't measure the temperature. That's not possible. That will require too much battery, maybe in a couple of years, but also certain diseases. Traceability is also very important. We see that in the chain, they require more and more traceability. And this is also very, from a sustainable point of view. If we link more data, if the cattle farmers become better, in Australia, for example, but also in other areas in the world, they have about 1 cow per 20 hectares in the extensive areas, or 1 cow per 20 football fields. If we link those data and the farms become more efficient, we can have 1 cow per 15 football fields. So the stocking rate goes up, and we need less land for the cattle, for in the world. At the moment, we are commercial since 2020. We're fully independent. We have continuous production and increasing numbers. As I told you in the presentation, we're always developing the hardware and the software. We already have clients now in over 14 countries. We have a team of 11 people now in Brisbane and in Utrecht, an external development team in India, and international partners, of which 2 are very important. I want to highlight here as well, are Sodak and the Things Industries, very important partners for us. Thank you for listening, and let me know if you have any questions.